have a framework for a TikTok deal. The two leaders, President Trump and Party Chair Xi, will speak on Friday to complete the deal, but we do have a framework for a deal with TikTok.
That was a glimmer of hope for social media app TikTok and its 170 million U.S. users. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, they're confirming that U.S. and China have reached a framework deal regarding the popular social media app.
Bessent says the goal is to switch ownership of the platform from ByteDance, a Chinese-owned company, to a U.S.-owned company. That announcement came from Bessent Monday, just hours after Trump indicated that he may not extend the ban on the app once again.
They're negotiating TikTok right now. We may let it die, or we may, I don't know, it depends, up to China. It doesn't matter too much. I'd like to do it for the kids. They like it.
Like to do it for the kids.
Oh, gosh.
Trump is set to meet with Xi Jinping in Madrid on Friday. So remember, the situation is that Congress voted on a bipartisan basis to ban TikTok, citing national security concerns. President Joe Biden signed that ban into law. The Supreme Court signed off on the ban because it was challenged on First Amendment grounds. I found the First Amendment arguments persuasive to me, but the Supreme Court ruled unanimously the other way. Justice Neil Gorsuch, who's arguably the Supreme Court justice closest to my own opinions, had an opinion that was like, I'm kind of uncomfortable doing with this, and I really don't like doing it based on evidence that they're not letting the other side see, because they're saying, we can't tell you, it's national security, but we can't tell you why it's national security. We can't tell you that.
Right.
But nevertheless, fine, ban it. Then this happened just as Trump was taking office, and Trump was like, I don't really want to ban it, though. And even Democrats were like, well, we don't really want to ban it now either. And so they just decided not to, even though it was signed into law and passed by the president. So they've been trying to negotiate this deal, and I don't want to see TikTok banned because I do think it's a First Amendment issue, frankly. I think TikTok may not have rights because they're not an American company, but we must always remember that the First Amendment does not affirmatively say, here is a group of individuals who have rights. It restricts the government's behavior. It says the government shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. A law that prevents me, a citizen of the United States, from seeing content on a Chinese app seems to me to be abridging my First Amendment rights. Not necessarily China doesn't have First Amendment rights, but mine. So that's why I was not for banning it. I hope a deal is reached because, millions of people in the U.S. use this as their livelihood.
Right.
So,
and we saw a lot of people rallying against this idea.
Yeah, the president of TikTok said, thank you, President Trump, for saving TikTok. And this is it's not the entire story, but it's part of the Gen Z switch toward Trump. Trump winning the category, Trump doing so well with young people, is in part because he's the savior of TikTok.
Well, we've all seen this movie before. President Trump says he's close to a deal, and then boom, doesn't happen. So we know, everybody knows where I'm going with this.
Here's your taco.
Trump TikToko. Okay, this is the third time when he gets all the way to Beijing and they're like, nah, it's not going to work for us. And TikToko gets bullied into, given a new deadline, a new extension. The deadline was today. It was Wednesday. We're passing and going. TikToko's letting it go. And we're going to go to Friday and have a conversation for the first time with China about what the plan is. And
Tuesday.
Hopefully we'll talk about it on Taco Tuesday about whether this is accomplished. But you know what? On a serious note, my biggest issue is that, as we start to force the sale of this company and figure out what the next steps are, a lot of the people that would potentially be the new owners are Republican allies, or people that have donated to the Republican Party, like Andreessen Horowitz donated a ton, millions to Super PAC, Right for America. Obviously the Oracle CEO, Larry Ellison. And so I just don't want to see TikTok, which is this beautiful, funny app that I use sparingly, but a lot of my friends love and use a lot, and people have much success on, become the next X, which to me, as you know how I feel about X, don't love it since Elon Musk took it over. Think it became ridiculous and negative and the worst, where TikTok is insightful and inspiring still and actually meant to be what it was created to be.
Well, there should just be competition. Competition is healthy for the marketplace in social media, and if you start banning companies, that might make Facebook and X more of a monolith, and I don't think that's good. I think they should face competition. That does it for us today on Rising Live. Thanks so much for watching, and look out for more exclusive YouTube content coming your way. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Hill so you never miss any of our content. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.